These two are having a fight right outside of my office window. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, look at them go. And I actually looked out the window and I could see fur falling from the sky from where they were up higher in the trees. Chasing each other. I can't believe that. Look at his tail. He's gonna find him. Oh, there they go again. All day long. Man, those fox squirrels, they really don't mess around. Oh, they're so colorful. Alright, you guys. Well, I hope you've settled your differences. That was kind of interesting to watch the fur actually fall from the sky. Alright. I'm sure there's plenty of seeds for everybody. So many notes. So many notes for so many different series. Oh my goodness. And these aren't even the notes that I keep on my computer or in my Kindle. Ah, we have really got some big projects ahead of us, guys, but I'm excited. And just setting some nice peach tea to cool. Saying goodbye to my birdos. It's just gonna be a short walk, guys. I'll be back very soon, don't worry. I'll see ya. You keep regrowing those feathers, buddy. And let's head outside, guys. We're gonna go on a nice walk in the forest and enjoy the beautiful early autumn weather and maybe see something really fun. Oh, like squirrels. Or maybe some of those deer I keep finding in our ravine. Somebody must sit in the tree overhead and just spend his day eating acorns because there's so many acorn shells just right over here. I'm collecting up as many of the whole ones like these that I can find because I have a fun art project I actually want to do with these to make cute little unique creatures that I'm going to put up on the Etsy shop once I get them done. Well, what a nifty spot. It truly looks like there's a squirrel who must be overhead sometime who just spends his entire day eating acorns right here, dropping the shells below. Look at you, bristly things. Pretty. Do you hear all the chipmunks? They're yelling at each other. I have no idea what they're so cranky about, but probably just busy saying, this is my spot. Stay away. Yeah, there's a lot of rocks over there up against that wall, so he must have a little catch. Oh, there's some chipmunks chasing each other. Yeah, they must be busy building their catches because it's just starting to be the very first tips and bits of the cool autumn weather. I always feel so much better when I come out to go on walks, and it's surprisingly hard to convince yourself to leave the house and go on a walk, but being able to step into one of the forest parks that we have around here, you can just kind of feel your spirit sort of like refreshing. It's refreshing. Look, I'm walking under all these beautiful leaves. They're touching the top of my head. I'm listening to chipmunks chase each other all around. My goodness, who's yelling at me? There's squirrels all over the place. I saw what I thought was a cat in someone's yard, and it was actually a huge fox squirrel. I forget how big, or red squirrel, excuse me. I forget how absolutely huge no, they're fox squirrels. I forget how big the fox squirrels are here. You think I would remember after living here a year, but just a few months away in Taiwan. And it's amazing how tricky it is to get my mind to remember where I'm at, that I'm here, I'm home again. But it's beautiful here. It feels good here. I'm surrounded. Look. Look at all this. Isn't it beautiful? And this is just one of the multiple small parks that are in between all of the houses. I didn't go out of my way. I just went down the street. And this is one of the four small parks within a 2-minute walking distance from my home. And there's houses on either side of me, but you wouldn't know that. I love it here so much, guys. And I love that I can share it with you because there's something cleansing and healing and inspiring for me about being out in the greenery, especially with the harvest season on the main channel coming up, and it's supposed to be a big collection of games centered around this feeling And if I don't come out and have this feeling of exploration and joy and curiosity and discovery, just walking along the path and there's a bunch of acorn shells for me to collect, of watching the chipmunks chase each other, listening to the squirrels sass me in trees, walking by gigantic plants. If you're gonna create something, then you probably need to go and make sure that you're very familiar. Hello, little bees. You're familiar with the heart of what you're trying to create. If I want it to be any good, huh? I feel better. So that's what harvest season's supposed to be about, is creation, community, the sense of fun and exploration that coming out in the forest can be, the sense of building a family home and family traditions with things like Halloween or Thanksgiving, but not really about those holidays, but the heart of what some of those holidays can mean. Traditions with your family, spending time with your family, being able to look forward to autumn as being that kind of pulling in and building your community and building your family feeling. And how am I gonna make that if I don't give myself time to go on walks and find it? I think what I love best about exploring in the forest or exploring anywhere is that you never really know what you're gonna find. And so everything you find, because you don't have any expectations, is just going to be wonderful and fun and fill you with a sense of curiosity and awe and wonder. I mean, look at this tree with all of those pretty seeds hanging from it, and I passed a gigantic tree that must have taken me like, oh man, it would be like 3 of me to wrap my arms around it, that had fallen down and is half rotten over there. There's a very cranky squirrel sassing me right over here. The way the light plays through the leaves. This is what I like about coming and exploring. And oh, there goes some chipmunks. You can't see them because I'm not using my wildlife camera, but they're darting between the trees. Busy doing chipmunk things this time of year. I love exploring like this. And I love being, oh, there's more chipmunks. Oh, it's a red squirrel. No, a chipmunk darting around there. Wow, I've seen like a dozen chipmunks just in this one little tiny park. That's amazing. But you never know what you're gonna find, you know? Come out and exploring. And I guess that's what I really want the heart of a lot of the stuff that I create to be. To encourage people to come out and explore, to do so with a spirit of curiosity and wonder means that you're gonna find one thing after another that just fills you with a sense of awe and excitement. And how amazing is that, to live like that, where you're curious about everything, where everything you see makes you feel excited and full of awe and inspiration. That's what I wanna give people. So I'm really glad I'm taking the time to try to go on my daily walks, because if I don't give it to myself, I can't give it to other people, right? But let's keep going. Let's see what we find. Black squirrel. There he goes. Look at these cool little cup mushrooms. That's so fun. They're so pretty. They look kind of like ears. So I think I've heard some of those varieties being called like wood ears or baby ears, which is really weird. Who would look at that and think, looks like a baby's ear? But that's fun. I think they only show up when it's super duper wet, and it's been raining a lot lately. I wonder if there's any other mushrooms hiding around to find. Sense of wonder, awe, curiosity, unabashed, enthusiastic happiness. I think that's what I create with. That's what I want to live with. Every action I have in my life, I want those to be the things that are guiding me. When I'm out on walks like these, I can clear my head and remember that. But I wonder what it is, what it's been that's been suffocating those things out of my life the last few months and freezing me up when it comes to creating or opening my life up and sharing it with you guys, or sharing it to myself. Maybe I need to think about that too. Wonder, curiosity, awe, unashamed, unabashed happiness and positivity. That's not just how I want to create, that's how I want to live. Maybe I need to give some thought into what's been holding those things back. Overabundant criticism from comments, expectations from outside of my heart and my family, a punishing schedule, not enough time with my family, knowing that I'm not aligning the things that I know are right, taking care of my family, taking care of myself with the things I'm actually doing. I should think about those things too. So I won't forget how good everything feels right now and how much I want to share with everyone, to share with all of you. How much I want this happy feeling of curiosity and awe and joy in life, even when things are hard, to be yours too. So if you guys are wondering why I keep talking about searching for awe and curiosity and green-hearted things to bring to you and to share with you, it's because there's been a really heavy weight on my heart the last few months. And it's taken a long time to analyze it because it's been a rough year for me personally. But I think we've also hit a point over on the main channel. Almost 200,000 people have followed our adventures. And we get over 5 million people watching different videos every month, and our community has grown. And so I'm realizing as I go on more of these daily walks and really try to meditate on why I feel kind of strangled or suffocated or smushed under a gigantic weight, I try to think about, why do I feel that way? And I think that the growth of our community is a beautiful, wonderful thing, but has facilitated a little bit of why I have felt so overwhelmed and so crushed this year. And I don't want to misconstrue that and for people to think I am not grateful or happy or excited to see our community grow so much. I am. It just comes with things I wasn't prepared for, I didn't know to look out for, and I didn't know how to emotionally or mentally cope with. When I started making my stories on the main channel, it was because I just wanted to have a archive, a place to put my stories. I didn't really think anyone would watch them. It was just a fast way to tell my sim stories, and then a fun way to share some of my passion for teaching about the natural world that was blocked off because I didn't have the teaching job I used to. So it was like an avenue to let that passion out. And then it grew and grew and grew and grew, and you guys have seen it from day one grow from this tiny shy woman speaking in her bedroom. Often I would just have the kids like that I was nannying, my cousins, sit on my knees while I recorded. Very unprofessional and casual and from the heart from the get-go. And we've grown and grown and grown, and the opportunities of growth that started showing up changed my life. Being able to move in with chips, being able to remember back when I first lost my job at the flower farm because it was seasonal and I didn't know what to do because we didn't have enough money for groceries, and so people would donate to plant trees and zoo crafting. From those tiny roots, day after day after day, showing up and putting my heart into the work and everything I had because I had to make it work. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year has grown into this. And so the growth of our community has given my personal life has utterly transformed it into something that feels like it's right out of a fairy tale some days. Most days, every day, to be honest, no matter what happens, no matter what kind of comments you can get or how tricky the work can feel, I feel like I'm living in a fairy tale. And the last few months I've known that I'm under some sort of pressure, some sort of weight. And there's a lot going on. Like I mentioned last time, I lost my uncle. My mom had her heart attacks multiple times since then too. It's been a lot of pressure. We didn't know if we were going to lose our home that we're currently in and have to move right before we would leave for Taiwan. There's been a lot of personal growth all across the board. There's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of celebrations. But I think when I was thinking about all the pressure I feel and how there's been such a weight on my heart and my spirit lately, I've thought of it in terms of like, yeah, you've been going through a lot, maybe you're overworked, and I did burn out. I did push myself too hard, in too many directions, but I've learned a little bit about burnout since then. And so, especially today, when I was thinking about it and thinking about trying to explain why I keep telling you guys, I'm looking for joy, I'm looking for a green heart, I'm looking for something that I want to share with you, it's because some things happened with our community. And I think that's the truth of it in the end. I have a plaque up on my wall that says, when your heart is breaking, creation can heal beyond words. And that used to be 100% the only thing I needed. No matter how bad I could feel, no matter how broken my heart was, no matter what happened in my life, I could sit down and create more zoo crafting, sit down and create more Sims stories. And the act of that creation healed me in a way. It healed the thing that was hurting. And now it's not like that, and it should be. And that doesn't tell me it doesn't work. That tells me that there's something much more severe going on. And there's a block to my ability to create, and that's fear. That's fear and the criticism and the expectations that have come from a growing community. And those are totally normal things. And I didn't know they were normal things. I didn't know to expect them. I wasn't prepared for them. I wasn't prepared emotionally for them. And somehow over this year, so the year itself has been rough for me. And I'm realizing now that it's as simple as I couldn't create the way I wanted to from my heart in a way that allowed me to heal. And so I lost the thing I had relied on for so long for healing, which is creating something, because I couldn't create because I was afraid because of the expectations of the main channel community. And again, we're talking about the tiniest sliver percentage of that community. And that's the tricky thing when you do this, is that that tiny percentage can stand out the loudest, and you feel like that's the only person you're trying to answer. So backing up a little bit, I feel so much peace the last few days because these walks have helped me not only enjoy and savor the greenery, but I had to go that far back to my roots to start figuring out how to take off this malaise, how to take off. I feel like numb. I feel like my mouth is full of cotton. I know these feelings. I've had them before when I was younger. I'm right on the edge of going, is this depression? But I don't think it's depression. But everything feels far away and you feel numb, and it's really hard to feel intensity of joy like you normally do. And I am finally realizing that I don't have to sit here and think, oh my gosh, what are all these things going on in my life? What are the bazillions of things I should fix so that I feel different? It's just the simple answer is that the deepest healing I have ever found is through creating things, creating something happy, creating with just joy, creating with joy. And joy isn't there when you're afraid to create. Joy in your creation, creating with joy, doesn't happen if you feel so overwhelmed and so guilty and so much like you're letting somebody down when you create. When I am sitting in the privacy of my own office and I cannot joyfully create because I am already flinching from the people who are going to criticize how I pronounce things, they're going to ask me where's WolfQuest, where's Warriors, they're going to tell me very nasty things about my appearance. I lost that avenue of healing on a very hard personal year for me. And I think that's what it was. In the past, I had a community that could kind of be interesting and could kind of, overwhelm you at times. And I mean, there have been some not so nice comments from the beginning. But when our community suddenly grew, 80,000 more people within the span of some of the toughest months of my adult life so far. And then a lot of those people who came in were used to a different atmosphere of community, one that's not as hands-on or as supportive or as from the heart as ours can be. It opened me up to a lot of nastiness at a very vulnerable time. And I over-relied, perhaps to some degree, on being able to create things with joy and offer them up with an open heart and just like get so happy off of the joy that then the people who would watch it would have, that I didn't have a different recourse of healing available to me when things were going really rough. And I probably should have had them. And so the last few weeks, what I've been doing is healing in a different way. I haven't been creating as much because my ability to create with joy has really suffered because of just the not so great toxicity that stepped in with a growing community. And again, that's just normal. This isn't to say like, oh, I don't like my community at all. We are gonna have hurt people. We're gonna have people who enjoy hurting others because they're at a certain phase in their life. They're struggling, they're suffering, they're justifying it. When you have almost 200,000 people in attendance, you're going to have nasty comments when you've got that. And you're going to have people who are disappointed. You're gonna have people who only see you as an app, not as a person. They're gonna be people who enjoy trolling or harassing a community instead of helping it grow when you have a group that big. And those are normal things. And those are things I kind of knew intellectually, but I didn't know from my heart. And so there I was, vulnerable and hurting and overwhelmed and trying from the core of myself, measuring every area of my worth by what I could do for the community and what I could do to grow the channel and what I could do to see the people who came to our channel happy. And I was failing them. And I would check comments on a video and it would just be a lot of like, where's Warriors? Where's Untold Tales? Where's Wolf Quest? Where's Star Stable? Where's No Man's Sky? Like out of the blue. Like every single series I've ever made would be like, where's this? Or if I upload an episode, this is boring, you talk too much. You know, all of those things, which are just part and parcel of it. And on a good day, I can handle that no problem. And on a good day, you can just accept that everyone's going to enjoy things differently. But because I was hurting, and because there were really tragic, sad, hard things and scary things going on in my life, and because my instinct for years has been to turn towards the stories I make to be my place of unwinding, of relaxing, of stepping out of my mind and my heart and being able to heal and then come back and deal with whatever I needed to step away from, I lost that ability because I was creating, but I couldn't do it with joy because every time I would sit down and start recording, I would already hear the voices, see the comments of people who were unhappy, of the people who were furious like that their favorite series wasn't showing up, the people who would criticize how I speak or how I talk or how I tell my stories, and it made me freeze up. I mean, I couldn't create unless I like was pulling my teeth to do it, unless I psyched myself up, set myself down, or terrified myself by going, and if you don't create, lady, who's gonna feed your family? If you don't sit down and get your act together, who's going to make sure that rent is paid for yourself and your mom and dad? And who's going to make sure that mom's nurse is hired? And who's going to make sure that like your birds have a home and you're all gonna have to live in a cardboard box in the street if you don't pull your act together? Yeah, trying to badger yourself like that when you're emotionally hurting and you lost your only arena of healing, and then the schedule is still falling further and further behind and the people are getting angrier and angrier, and yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. I mean, trying to keep up with that big a community, you're gonna eventually lose the ability to please everyone. From the moment there was one other person watching other than myself, I lost the ability to please everyone all the time with my community. But man, from the bottom of my heart, I've learned to love strangers, trust strangers, love the world on the level I never, ever, ever, ever would have dreamed was possible. I remember being a furious teenager, sitting on the bus, glaring at every single other person on the bus and thinking how much I hated them because they hated me. They had to, because I hated myself so much. And I went from that kind of person to being able to feel like my heart is always open to meeting new people and excited to learn about them and their stories, and joy, sincere joy from my heart of being able to see this community of kindness just spread around the world. I went to that, and then the community continues to grow, and you transition from that like happy honeymoon bubble stage into the like, whoa, wait a second, now the demands are starting to get out of hand. That's not how you should speak to someone, random child. That's not how you should request something that you want to see. Please leave me alone on pronouncing this word. I have a little bit of a speech thing, and it just, I lost my ability to heal through creating because all I could think about was how much I was disappointing everybody that I sincerely wanted to see happy. And it just snowballed from there. It snowballed from there. And then, I can't believe it's been so long, but almost 2 months ago or so, somebody left a comment on one of my videos that kind of broke everything for me. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm actually really grateful for it now, even though it's resulted in almost 2 months of hardly doing anything, of panic attacks when I try to do something, of having to step back and analyze my whole life. The comment that this person left was in response to a chain where someone asked, where's Warriors? And that day I had just dealt with somebody sending death threats and harassment to a fan artist on DeviantArt who had drawn some dough wish art. And I was feeling overwhelmed, and I was like, I'm feeling super overwhelmed about it. It's been revealed to me that a lot of people have been attacking artists in the community built around our Warrior series. And I'm sort of soured on the Warrior stuff for right now because I really have to just take a little time to think about this and how I'm going to handle it. And then one of the people in the thread replied, well, it doesn't matter how you feel. It's popular. And you've got to do whatever's popular and we want if you want to be able to take care of yourself and earn money, right? And they continued on for a few paragraphs on that vein. And I just remember sitting there in shock going, I just told these people how there's like minors getting death threats because of my series and it's freaking me out. And I'm trying to figure out how to handle this and how to guide my community away from this kind of behavior. And this person doesn't even care that that's happening. And they're telling me that I have to do what they want and what's popular, and I have no choice in it. Like, that's what they said. They're like, I don't care and you have no choice. And I just remember thinking, no. That was my line that I didn't realize was there and that someone crossed when they left that comment. It was the straw that made me realize I could not continue going through the motions and forcing myself to create and pull my teeth out and just trying to pick the popular things so that I could make sure that my family was taken care of because something was broken. That was the moment. And I just remember thinking, when someone else is at risk because of my community, I have to step back and I have to go, this is not what I want. And if I have to only create what's popular, like, do I really have no other choice? And it hit me right at that moment when I read that comment. Just, it was like a second me talking to myself suddenly just was like, you have a choice. You've got other skills. You could get a different job. You don't have to make just what's popular. If things like push come to shove, you could just make whatever you want because you love creating and you don't want to stop, and you can go work somewhere else. And it was just, woo, talk about my mind was blown. But it was really intense, that moment, realizing that I had a line, that it was crossed when people were threatening others in my community, justifying it by going, well, I can treat other people this way and you're still gonna make what I want because you have to. You don't have a choice. And I realized I still want to make those things, not for nasty McNasty over there, not for surely not for them, but I don't have to. That I have other choices. I choose to be here. It is without a doubt the most successful, beautiful, wonderful, transformational career, if we're gonna call it that, that I could ever have, and I want to be here. But when I read you have to make what's popular, something snapped, and until very recently, the last few days of going on my walks and realizing I need other areas, other ways to heal so that I can come back and create with joy and not feel cornered or pressured or feel like fearful and forced into it because I have no choice. Until very recently, I couldn't articulate all of this. So thank you, Beautiful Walks in Nature, for doing this, and thank you to the person who helped me realize why pushing myself to make the popular stuff, which I also loved, don't get me wrong, it's not like I didn't like it, but I was pushing myself so hard at a time when I was still struggling, and still I wasn't getting the healing from creating like I used to, and I wasn't getting it anywhere else, and I'm finally pulling it all together. So yeah, that's why I'm out there looking for the green heart of things, looking for curiosity and awe and my sense of wonder again. I'm trying to recover that into my life, because that has been from the beginning what the heart of the things I create and give out to the world are made up of. Wonder, awe, curiosity, joy. And if I can't create joyfully, then I want to step back and from now on heal whatever is going on in my life, because let's face the reality of it, guys. Like, my parents are very sick. The next couple of years might have some very intense permanent life changes coming up for me, and that's just one of many things in a normal person's adult life that they're going to have to figure out how to manage. And I need to figure out this new growth stage of my community and my future with my channels, of being able to acknowledge that there's going to be bumpier rides up ahead for the community aspect of it. And that's just the phase of growth that we're in now, and I need to be prepared and build myself up around it. And also find other ways to heal, and those ways have included spending time with my family, spending time every night with Chips, even if we're just sitting side by side quietly reading. And in the past, before we left for Taiwan, I would feel sick with guilt, like to the point where he would look at me and he would give me a hug and tell me I could go back to work. That's what I love him, and that's what our life together was like, because I would hear all the comments, I would hear all the emails I was getting nonstop, the DMs, the tweets of where's this, where's this, where's this. I had a horrible day today at school and you let me down because you didn't put out a wolf quest, or Seri, if you don't hurry up and put out another Star Stable right now, then I'm going to unsubscribe. We're that niche kid. Like, I don't care if your mom almost died. I want my daily niche or else. And there's been a lot of people like that. It's not just one or two. I think it's because we deal with a much younger community. And I would hear those voices and I couldn't relax with him, and I wouldn't play games with him, and we really were starting to live two very independent lives, because I was a workaholic, because I was trying to please everybody in my community, because when we were smaller that was easy to do and a joyful thing to do. So now I spend time with him every night. We make dinner together, we sit down and we play games together, or we just read side by side, and I'm healing. And now that I'm healing that way, I am trying to find other ways too. Going out on walks, reading books again, being able just to sit and watch my birds for a while, trying to cultivate other interests and hobbies. Not because I don't want to be creating 5-6 videos a day. Of course I do. I have so many stories I want to tell. I have so much I want to do. But there's still that gap missing between the desire and the physical ability to do those. And the healing is what's going to connect that again and make it happen. And I'm working on finding my joy and wonder, going even further back than before I started creating videos, to when I would spend hours every day just walking and walking in the forest, walking and walking around my neighborhoods, being out in nature. And that's where it all began, really, is walking out in the forest and finding little tiny discoveries and mushrooms and taking pictures of them. I did that for years before I started recording videos. So I'm going back to my roots that way. of looking with wonder and awe at the world and finding surprising discoveries and trying to bring that back into my heart so that I can then create joyfully. So that's what's been going on, and I rambled again even though I told myself, you're gonna make it a quick one today, Seri. But those are some of the serious things I haven't really talked to you guys about, and I've only just really been able to pull together like puzzle pieces fitting together. Oh, I can't create with joy. I'm not healing from creating right now because I'm so scared of my angry people or so overwhelmed by my angry people. And oh, I need to heal right now because life is actually a lot rougher behind the scenes than I anticipated. And oh, I need to figure out what I'm going to create, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's why harvest season is coming up on the main channel, because I'm going back to my roots, back to the things that are without question things that bring me joy to do and joy to create. The Harvest Moony stuff, Stardew Valley, I'm going back to those because I want to heal from creating again, and I want to put the joy and the heart back in it. And maybe not everybody, in fact, I'm pretty sure not everybody like puts their heart into what they create, and it's probably so much easier, and I am so envious of just being able to sit down and like kind of fill in a template of an episode with your voice and then just be like, there we go. I didn't have to be thinking about family and gratitude and awe and discovery whilst I recorded this. I just filled it in with my words, and it's fantastic, and tens of thousands of people will love it. I wish I could create like that some days, because that'd be so much easier and I wouldn't have to emotionally prepare myself to create. I could just do it, and I can't yet. Maybe one day I could, but I think that's one of the charms of our episodes and our series and what we do, is that it's sincere, it's from the heart. And that's why harvest season is coming up, to try to give myself something sincere and from the heart, and to create with joy again. I'm looking for joy so I can create with joy once more. And I have to just accept and learn how to cope with the new growth of our community in directions I didn't expect, and how to grow a backbone and put my foot down for the first time in my life and say no. When someone says you have to make this because it's popular and you have no choice, and I said no, and that no actually is what shattered things so much that I couldn't make videos for like a week after that comment. And it helped actually, because it let me find other ways to start healing. I'm not just going to sit around in a big puddle mope and not try to better my life in some way. I do, no matter what. I think that's one of the biggest, best qualities about myself, is a scrappy sense of survival for joy. One way or another, I want to pick myself up and go find something to be joyful and happy about, and to eagerly discover it like a little acorn of joy. And then the first impulse I always have is to pick it up and rush and share it with someone. And lately that's been Chips and the people in our Patreon Discord. And slowly but surely I'm building back up to being able to find that joy and create with it so that I can share it with as many people as possible, because I think that's important. So there's my speech. Seri, why? And I'm going to get back to work, but I feel a lot better because I hadn't told you guys about some of those things. Maybe you're also a YouTuber, maybe you're also a creator, maybe you're also going through a rough patch, and the things that used to heal you no problem, used to bring you that sense of solace and make the world feel cleansed. It's like you're gazing out at the whole world through a filmy window when you feel like that, when you can't heal, when you can't find the things that can let you experience joy again. And I'm looking for the things that can like clean that window off and let me not only see out of it, but open it up again and go out there and find the richness of the world. And I'm finding them. I'm finding them again, and a huge part of that comes because I'm having to just put my foot down for a little while and think about myself and think about what's going to make me happy, and not live in the endless cycle of fear that doing YouTube seems to have put me in, of sadness that I'm disappointing everyone. It's a new phase of maturity of having to accept I can't make everyone happy anymore. I may not always choose the things that are the most popular because they're not the things that are going to follow my heart. But I just have to trust that I'll do what I can and everything will work out. And if nothing else, at least I won't have any regrets if I get to live my days out with joy, right? So, all right, I'm gonna sip my now cooling tea and upload this for you guys to enjoy. And I'm gonna go and get ready for Chips to come home and welcome him home with joy. And then I'm going to write my joy journal. How many more times can I say the word joy? And get back to it, but I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you guys.